Have a great session.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining our Speak IT series. I apologize again, Linda. My camera, for whatever reason, doesn't like your Zoom. I've even switched cameras from my laptop to another monitor camera, and it still won't work. But again, we do thank you from the IT Advisory Committee for those of you that continue to come back to our Speak IT series. And this afternoon, you will have the pleasure of hearing from a friend, a colleague, an associate of mine, Dr. Carbonaro from Buffalo State University. He is the head of data science, professor of mathematics, and the lead faculty member at Buffalo State University in the data science area. For those of you that may move on to that excellent university in the future, please look him up. He is an excellent faculty member, teacher to get associated with and to pick his brain and learn and absorb everything that he can tell you and share with you. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he's going to talk to you about artificial intelligence this afternoon, and we will monitor the chat line for any questions, but we do ask that you do ask him that question in your own voice. And also, if you'd like, please turn your cameras on so that we can see those smiling faces. So over to you, Dr. Carbonaro.
Thanks so much, Theron. It's a pleasure to be here, my friend. And I love to talk to students and my colleagues at ECC. Today, we're going to talk about AI and what's known and what people think about it. And so the audience has to give us a hand here. So I have a whole bunch of slides and references, but I've seen people in so different camps here. Some people are afraid of AI. Some people is excited using it. Some people have tried and say it doesn't work. And the one thing that is clear is that over 100 million people are using it on a daily basis. There is a repository of language models called Hugging Face, and it has over 2.5 million models. People all over the world is creating models. Now, most of us are only familiar with a few of them. There is ChatGPT, and within ChatGPT, there is a whole bunch of models. Then there is, of course, Gemini, and there is Claude that has been in the news recently, Grok, and a whole bunch of Chinese models like DeepSeek that are making a big difference. There is a French model called, escapes me right now the name, Mistral. That's a French one. Now, I wanted to share from the beginning a long list of references that I have that I use for the class on AI that I teach at Buff State. So it has the AI engineering is the most recent focus part, and a lot of the rest of the references are into what learning is and what are the controversies, what are the achievements in research, and so on and so forth. So when just to begin, could I have a small kind of feedback, some kind of feedback from the audience? what is your background in AI? What do you expect from AI? What would you like to talk about AI today? So just unmute yourself and start. I see Mickey, Herschel, Eric, Gotai, Carl, Mirbat, Tony, Danish Marie, Cassie, Susan, anybody who will be willing to share of, what is your major, maybe what have you done with AI? Have you done more than just chatting with it?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually work with AI. I'm an AI trainer. So my question is, I know like AI is evolving a lot. When it comes to output and the correctness of information, because we know that AI is not very much reliable when we come to getting our information from the internet. So that's like the topic that I would like to focus on today.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
The way we handle this in the academic environment, right, is by analyzing the sources of problems of misalignment. So basically, what your question is in regards to hallucinations, right, is really what is called a misalignment. That is, you're getting not what you were looking for. So it's very much like talking to, say, you go to I don't know, a consultant, and then he advises you to do something that you were not expecting to do or wanted to do. Now, in even the actual factual information, what is it, ground truth, like, that Buffalo is a city in New York, and then if AI tells you, well, Buffalo is a city in Missouri, that is definitely a ground information problem. So there is a paper that came out recently that basically analyzes all the steps of the training of the model, right? So there is the corpus that the model is trained on, and that corpus itself can have wrong information. So people creating the models, they may have used information that has the wrong ground truth or the wrong perspective. So after the data lake goes into the cleaning of the data, and then there is the ETL, the data has to be transformed and loaded into the neural network, and so on and so forth. There is actually, do I have the reference here? Bear with me. Maybe if it takes me a few seconds to find it, I'll share with the paper with you. But again, you are saying, well, but you are telling me some technicalities. At the end of the day, right? I asked the model something, and it simply gave me the wrong answer. Well, the thing is, that is a product user design mistake. So if somebody tells you, here is a car, and the car is gonna help you, say, get in shape. And then you say, well, I've been driving every day and it doesn't work. Well, they told you the wrong thing, right? So basically, the car is used to go from A to B, not to get in shape. I mean, this is kind of a crazy thing. So the issue with products is that there is an expectation for the product, right? And then AI was released at a very early stage just to let it out, and try to commercialize it right away. Now, the paper that originated the idea for AI was written in 2017 by a group from Google, the DeepMind group, and then OpenAI. Basically, they released ChatGPT 3.5 in 2022 on November, and Google didn't want to release it at that time, basically. And in fact, when Google released their product, it sure enough, it wasn't accurate with the ground truth, and there were issues there. So the paper that I'm talking about to be here is called, let's see. Well, I'll find it and send it. But tell me a little bit more about where do you train with AI?
So I work with a Handshake, the organization. So eventually I just do AI modeling. I evaluate the outputs, different systems. Um, so yeah,
Fantastic.
it's
Yeah. So
yeah, it's like
basically, what you do, we call it AI engineering. So AI engineering is when somebody. Are you a data scientist or computer scientist by any chance?
no, I study information technology, so
Okay.
cybersecurity sector.
Yeah.
So I'm
Perfect. Yeah. So basically, you are not. You didn't study how AIs are trained, right? Or how AIs are displayed. So you deal with them after they are provided to you.
yes, correct. I
Yeah,
just like
that's
try,
called
yeah.
that's what is called the AI engineering. And actually, I should have predicted this question and have the paper already at hand. But anyway, I'll find it if
It's
you.
fine.
But so that also in these references here, there is a lot of information about that. And so, but let's go a little bit more, say, in different areas. So so um, AI has achieved a whole bunch of things. So in the International Math Olympiad, it won a gold medal. AI has been used to diagnose breast cancer. The AlphaFold has predicted new proteins that never seen before, and so it definitely has achieved a whole bunch of things, but in a very say specialized area. And but I would like to one idea that I'd like to get across. If today you guys get something out of this presentation, is that AI is a lot more than just a chat box. So AI is one idea that is developed in the paper from 2017 called All You Need Is Attention. And what it does very well is get a particular text that could be very long, could be a book, 2 books, 3 books, and then it is able to relate every kind of piece of it to the other piece. So it is able to answer questions by looking directly at the data, which is very different than what traditional science and statistics does. So in statistics, you usually look at the sample set to try to guess what the whole data is telling you. So for instance, you want to know what people think about in an election, who's going to win an election. So what they do, they do sample a subset of the environment, and then they do statistics with it. So the entire purpose of statistics, I mean, to a great extent, is to be able to deal with incomplete information, right? Like you only have a sample, and they can extrapolate. On the other hand, what this tool does, what the transformer architecture neural network, what it does is that when it has a context window, it has, first of all, this semantic embedding that is, it has a way of somehow understanding which words are similar to each other. So if you ask a ChatGPT or any LLM, am I happy? It knows that happy is similar to many other emotions. So it is able to understand it, not by looking it up in a dictionary, but in a almost human ways with the semantic, with the meaning. So then what this tool does is that first of all is able to understand the context window. That is the entire thing that can be viewed at once. It has a scope. It cannot go beyond that scope. And if you look at any model in the model card, it will tell you how big is their context window. So once it has a context window, then it is able to use the attention mechanism, the attention layers that are able to relate every word when every other word. So if you tell the LLM, it's raining dogs and cats, since rain and dogs are in the same sentence, and because of the way things are put together, we'll know that that's a metaphor. But you say, I like my dog, but I don't have cats, then you will know that we are talking about a real thing. So this mechanism is crucial to try to predict and use the systems, the LLM. So going on in this conversation, then. So there is a whole bunch of references in my page here that I will share, where you can see a little bit more of what AI says and what are the. So, for instance, right here, this is a survey. Once hopefully the internet is not going to be too slow and it's going to come up, that asks thousands of people about. Is from Searchlight, and they did a survey on what people think about AI and understand how it works, and over about 30%. Okay, so it's here. So the one that we want is the search crosstabs. So this is when you get there, you'll download it, and you will get all this data. The one that I want to show you, though, is page 91, I think, here. 91. See if it takes me there. 92. No, not the nuclear energy. Bear with me. Oh, no. So actually, it's not a page. It's a number here. So maybe it's page, let's see, 267. Not yet. Page 300. Aha. So now the nice thing about this report that I would want you guys to take a look at is that it was divided across many groups. Like, for instance, when people say AI hallucinates, what does that mean? And this is exactly the question that we were just addressing a minute ago. So they said, well, what do people, based on gender, what do male and female, what do they think? Are they different in some party, the Democrat, Republican, Independent, race, ethnicity, and education, and so on? So what do they even mean by hallucinate? So 21% thinks that the AI creates images in its mind. 18% the AI gets overwhelmed by too many questions. The AI makes up false information that sounds believable. The AI starts talking about dreams and fantasies, and you can see the distribution. Now, why do we need to know this as a trainer and user of AI, right? So it is very important to know as much as possible of the tool so that we deliver a professional product, right? So I have talked to people, educated people that say, well, what is there to teach about AI? I teach AI. Say, well, take a biologist. You can say, what is there to teach about biology? There are animals are right there. Just look at people and animals. There's nothing to teach. And that's not the case. So the question is, all of these answers, that AI creates images in mind, that AI gets overwhelmed by too many questions, that AI makes up false information that sounds believable, the AI starts talking about dreams and fantasies, all of them show a certain lack of understanding of how the AI works. So in going forward in the future, I would assume that at a very early age, just like people learn basic math, people will learn like the basics of how AI works. And the way AI works, right, is that it generates one word at a time by looking this probability schema. So I can go through very detailed explanation of how it happens, but basically, just like a human being, if you ask me something that I don't know, and I'm on a bind and I have to answer, I'll just answer anything. I'll just answer based on what I know. So I'll make up things. So, but it's not that I am really, making up things. I'm giving you the best answer that I have for the job. So the AI does the same. So every time that it needs to create a new word, basically the system will create a probability distribution of all the tokens actually, and then it will give you the token with highest probability. So let's see here. So it took me to the wrong page again. 200, 1 second here. 67, maybe 300. So interrupt me at any time. I love to hear your opinion as we talk about this. So let me go back to the questions on the 90s that
Dr. Carbonero, the point that was made is that you should always check your work just to be safe. How would you respond to that?
That is a really, really good and important question. Very, very, very important question. So the way it is now explained or taught in the more formal system is that there has to be always a human in the loop. Now, let me compare this with another system that I think that is a sister of AI is mathematics. So when somebody gives you a mathematical result, you don't need to have, you really don't, in a way, how should I say, the system proves itself. How? Well, the mathematics, the conclusions of mathematics is simply the logical deductions from the assumption to the conclusion, right? So in a way, there are mathematical computing systems that you tell them a fact, and it could, in principle, use the logic from beginning to end to tell you whether it's true or not. So there is not really the need of a man in the loop or a human in the loop, right? Because mathematics is a system that is complete and that is consistent and uses very particular, the modus ponens, the logic reasoning. Now, why do we need to check the answer when you use AI? Well, because AI is giving you the words with highest probability based on the corpus that you have trained it with. So when you understand this system and you're working in a company, then you realize that, okay, if I want AI to be more accurate, what I do is I use a technique like retrieval augmented generation or fine tuning that basically makes the documents in the company be more likely to be in the output. But in the end, just like when you talk to a person, you have to check the answer. The answer cannot be self-validated. The answer doesn't attach itself to the ground truth or what we think is a ground truth. So I hope people will feel a little bit more to do philosophy of thinking. To do some of the looking at. So how do we believe what we believe, and how do we interpret reality, right? And when do we have illusions? So humans, we can easily be a victim of a visual illusion of many sorts. You can just Google this in YouTube, and you can find many videos. There is one where there is they trick you into watching a game, and there is a monkey going in the back, and you don't see it because, in any case, there is a part of the way we perceive things. So, why do we need to look at the answer? Is because of the system itself is not intended to be a search engine, is not supposed to be a retrieval of documents. What it is supposed to be is a system that looks at what's in the context window, and then based on the training will associate meaning to the pieces, which are not even words. I mean, the pieces in a context window are tokens, not words. So the AIs, they don't talk in words, they talk in tokens. So this is basically, I hope my answer wasn't too lengthy or confusing.
Another question is, it says AI is good and bad, and a lot of people on social media are posting AI videos. How can you tell, let's say, a fake video from a real one?
The consensus right now is that you cannot really see the difference. There is, unless the companies that produce the LLM, unless they start putting watermarks, it's impossible to see the difference. And I mean, there are programs that basically humanize, say, text. So you're trying to cheat in a class. They tell you an assignment, and then the assignment is done by AI, and then to avoid being caught, then you humanize the writing by using another LLM that basically includes maybe some spellings and other things. So as far as things stand right now, there is no way to determine. So the only way to do it is by observation. So you can see if a student turns in something and they cannot answer questions about what they turn in, then obviously something is wrong there, and they could have been done with AI, or it could have been simply done by somebody else. So the only way to really deal with this issue is the way we deal with other problems in life, like somebody breaking the law. So you cannot prove that somebody broke any law unless there is evidence, sometimes, or there is a witness, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay, I have a question for you, Doctor.
Yes.
Have you encountered any students using AI and it's obvious, maybe because of duplications? And if you find two students doing that, from a faculty perspective, what have or are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Theron, if I understand the question. So you have
if you had two students that turned in a paper and it was pretty much duplicate.
I see.
And you know that it's more AI generated than maybe them generating that. How are you addressing that with them?
Now I completely I see what you mean. Well, I right now deal mostly with graduate students, right? And then my students are supposed to let me know if they use AI. If now the bottom line is this: people cheat when they are not doing what they like. So basically, if a student that is paying to go to college, right, and the student basically is avoid learning by cheating, right? And then what you're saying is that, well, now if they have the same work, it's evident that they didn't do it. But the bottom line is this: that if somebody cheats, it's because they're doing something they don't like. And I hope I present material in my class in a way that they not only like it, but they are eager to do it. So they say, why would I be doing something in AI that takes away the pleasure of being creative? And actually, you probably, all of the people in the audience, if you dig deeper into your feelings, when every time that I've done something with AI and I submit it or do it, and that was important, I feel this emptiness that I didn't get it. I didn't do anything. So when I exercise, my body feels tired and I feel satisfied. When I write something on my own, I have this sense of accomplishment. So I do not, in the case of the two students that maybe turned in something similar, what if the two students use AI, but they learn from AI? So they created a thing, right? And then they thought about it, they asked questions to the AI, they learned the material. So to me, what I'm trying to do is help the students learn. So I do not emphasize too much what's negative. On the other hand, if you emphasize too much the negative things, then you spend all the time on the negative things, right, and the positive things. So it's almost
That's true.
yeah, it's almost worth it letting go of small infractions and hoping that the student, by doing that, will decide whether they want to just avoid learning by cheating or they want to learn. So that is basically a philosophy that I've been using for the last 4 years. And I think that to a great extent, it has created more maturity in the classroom and more involvement. And actually, let me mention one important thing. One of the reference that I have here is about a company that is using AI as a training tool to fill in the gaps for people. So if somebody, so this is one here, is Peter Attia and Joe Lehman. So they basically created, Joe Lehman, a company. Where did it go? Joe Lehman. So that basically they claim that AI, what it does is fills in transforming education with AI and individualized mastery-based education model. So the bottom line is that the reason people don't want to think, don't want to have critical thinking, is because there are bits missing in the topic that they are thinking about. So if you are completely lost in a conversation or in a topic, then if you're lost, then you can't do any thinking, because thinking means somehow asking questions that test the basics that you're trying to do. So if you're in a company, they don't want you to repeat things. In a company, they want you to be creative thinking. And so, but how can you be creative if it is you miss? So you're talking about in a company doing calculus for another, and then but you miss pre-calculus. So you are kind of lost. But so what the AI does in their framework is help students fill in the gaps. And that is something that I keep telling people. There are a lot of bad things that AI does, but heck, in my personal experience, I am so much more productive. So I wake up in the morning and I say, what amazing thing am I going to do today? I sit down, and a few minutes later, the thing is done, because the things that I didn't know is just in time delivery, it tells me. Now, I have had the opposite experience when I tried to cheat. Once I was trying to get my website to have a SSL certificate so that students don't get an error. And then I said, I'm too tired. I don't want to think about that. I told, go ahead and do it. I told AI, and it told me the wrong thing. So by the end of 2 hours later, my entire site was down, and I was in panic because my students were not going to be able to see the assignment. So I said, why did I do this? I could have spent half an hour, do it myself, and it would be over. So the big risk is don't use AI to do things that are important, and if you are lost. So AI is really a help to fill in the gaps and a help to do things that you know how to do a little bit faster.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to change the process. Michael, you've asked a question. Would you like to articulate that question to Dr. Carbonaro?
Sure. Thank you for letting me. Thank you for coming, first of all. I use AI pretty frequently. I find that it teaches me lots of stuff. Like just the other day, I wanted to learn how to make steak better. So I just sent ChatGPT a picture of my steak, and it told me all these facts based on the color, the marks, and all this stuff that I would have never known about previously. So I like to use it as you said, fill in the gaps, like learn all these things I didn't even consider before. At the same time, I see videos online, like my friend, he showed me a video of this person saying, if I have a cup that's upside down, how do I use the cup? And the AI was like, you can't. So
I saw that video, and the guy kept telling, yeah, but of course, the solution was turn the cup upside down, but the AI in that video didn't do it. Now, the question is very good question, Michael. This is a very important question. So that video didn't impress me at all because basically AI, when you look at the coding tools and techniques, right? AI is a tool, and a tool has to be used appropriately, right? So if I tell you, here is a fork, and you say, well, forks are terrible. I used it to comb my hair, and it kind of didn't work. It's too narrow. And the hand said, well, but why are you using a fork to comb your hair? It wasn't the point of it. So the issue, the general way of addressing this issue is that generative AI is a mislabel for intelligence. So human intelligence and AI intelligence are of very different nature. And actually, you think about it, a lot of things around us are very intelligent, like animals, like birds can predict earthquakes. Earthquakes, I think, much before humans can, if I remember correctly. And still, you can have a conversation with a bird. And so the people that work into deep, into intelligence and general thinking, like Chomsky, and there is a well-known philosopher at UB, and they're writing books about ChatGPT is dumber than a bird in your yard. And you say, so what? So what does intelligence means in the first place? I don't think anybody has come up with a good definition. So what I spent my time is learning what I can do with AI and not in what I cannot do. So the example that you gave is a good good example. But if you ask, maybe not anymore because now there are agents, but if you ask AI just a few months ago to find all the possible outcomes when you toss 10 dice and how many of those outcomes would give you whatever, some probability, it will give you the wrong answer. Or even a case where you say count from 1 to 100, and it would do 1, 2, 3, ... 100. No, I want you to count one by one from 1 to 100. They would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ... 100. No, I want you to do every single number. So basically, AI is not intended to do what mathematics does. And so how have they fixed that problem? Well, what happened now is something called, among other things, Model Context Protocol that allows to connect the AI with a user, but also with tools. So if you tell the AI, find something mathematical, so AI will simply program the Python, and then Python will do it for you. And then otherwise, or may go to a database, or may go to a list of prompts that may fix the problem, because the problem may be that you are not explaining things the right way. And so I would like to take also this opportunity to share with you something that I learned recently. Here is a program that I just started working. And then, so when you want to talk to an agentic IDE, and I'm using Cursor. How many of you guys in the gentlemen, people in the audience, have you used an agentic AI or Cursor?
I don't think anybody probably has, maybe not yet.
Okay, so let me tell you what I said. So so this is an agentic AI. So in the middle is the code. Like you click here, you can see the code. The right is my conversation with the agent. Below is a terminal that directly affects the computer. So every computer really is a whole bunch of zeros and ones, and you talk to it directly with a command line interface. But when I started this morning, I said, I want you to help me create a Flask. So first interview me to answer the following 4 questions. Oops, cancel this. So how do okay, the first questions are, what is the object of what I'm trying to do? What are the technical constraints? What are the inputs and outputs? And what are the edge case and validations? So the AI interviewed me. So what is the main purpose of the app? This was created by this program. So who are the primary users? What are the core features? So then I answer those questions. Number one, the main purpose of the app is to help the user remember people. So I'm creating an app that basically, when you open the browser, this will tell you upload a picture and a few things about the person. And then I'll use it on my phone. So I meet somebody, and then I take a picture, upload it, and I say, I met this person at a meeting, and he is the guy that is going to help me with this project. So then the program went on to write every single line of code you see on the left-hand side. Right, this is an agentic IDE, and they are turning to be extremely effective. They do a fantastic job. So it's right now, I have to do minimal corrections. The only problem is the communication. And if you have this approach where you use this contract, they call it a contract. So it's like these 4 questions is the contract between me and the agent. So what this does then is solve the problems of misunderstandings, right? And then the hallucinations part is mitigated, because with that you can, when somebody asks you a question, you go directly to the source. Remember that the base LLM is never looking at the actual documents. It's only recording the properties of the document. And the LLM itself, the one that you install in a computer, all it is a file with numbers. That's it. And I have Ollama installed. Let me show you also here. Terminal here. So if I make this a little bit bigger. So if I do first clear here, then Ollama, and then I do list. So these are all the programs that I installed in my laptop, and they run without an internet. So except the ones that say cloud, this one runs on the internet. But this one runs on my laptop. There is no internet needed for me to run these things. And if you open, let me see if I can show you also, if I open my hard drive, and then I do here as a list, and then let's see users, Carbon Joe. So if you go to, let's see, let me put it by name, Ollama, where is Ollama? Oh, here. So right here, this file is a whole bunch of numbers. There is not a single word there, just numbers. And then using those numbers, I go back here and I tell, okay, Ollama, run, and then I give it a model. Say the ones that you just saw, Gemma 3, and then say the tiny one, 1 billion. This one always gets it wrong because it's too small. So I can say, give me a summary of, and then you get any book at all, or say of The Emperor's New Mind. This is a book about mathematics that was published a number of years ago by a British mathematician. Okay, here is a summary of the, you see, this is a model that is too small and always gets it wrong. So it's thinking that I'm asking about Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince, and then it's giving me a summary of it. But so if I do by here, here, let's get a big brother, it's a Ollama list. Let me get so Gemma 3, Gemma 3, let's see, the 4 billion is, Gemma 3 27B is really good. So let me ask the same question to this one here. Ollama, run, Gemma 3 27 billion. So here is I'm going to say, give me a summary of the book, The Emperor's New Mind. Let's see if he gets it wrong. Yes, he got it right. You see, Roger Penrose wrote a book, The Emperor's New Mind. So why did the 1 billion lie to me? Well, simply because it has less weights, and it's simply a weaker model. So this is exactly right. So I can be in an airport. I'm going to a meeting and I need to review a book because I'm meeting. The thing has it all there. It's incredible. It's incredible. So in any case, so I think that we need to understand a little bit more about the foundations, and that even if you are using it and you are happy with it, you could do better with more training. And so you need to understand what a RAG is, what fine-tuning is. You need to understand what an MCP protocol, and then the history behind transformers. So the first epoch is in the 40s, 60s, where they automated machines. Then in the 60s to 2000s, they automated algorithms. And then after that came the statistical learning, which is what we are experiencing now. And so we don't, this presentation is just 1 hour, right, Theron?
Yes, we have two questions on the table, Dr. Carbonaro. We have probably about, I'm going to say about 8 minutes to go because I do have to jump to another call. Herschel, I'm going to ask that you ask your question. Please be brief, and then we'll go to Miss Day's question. Go ahead, Herschel. You might have us on double mute, Herschel. I still see your mute on. Let me see if I can turn your mute off. Okay, go ahead, Herschel.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I did want to ask, how is Kubernetes used with machine learning?
That is a very important tool. There are 3 tools that I have been using a lot with my students. That is GitHub, Docker, and Kubernetes. Now, neither of these 3 tools has anything to do with data science, machine learning, or generative AI. These tools are used in the workflow of collaborating and then displaying them. So, I mean, it's completely going on a tangent if you wanted to go more in depth. Like GitHub is something that helps you correct errors. If you delete something, you can go back. It's a revision history. Docker allows you to run an app in a way that doesn't interact with anything else. And then Kubernetes has a similar role. But this has nothing to do, basically. Now, I would highly recommend to learn all those 3. And it's not difficult. AI can give you a small tutorial. I can give you examples. So, but the beauty about Docker and Kubernetes is that you are, say, uploading things to a big server, and then your app will run perfectly well without any, even if it's a different operating system. And so, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Miss Day, I'm going to jump to you probably for the last question. So if you could articulate that to Dr. Carbonaro, I'd appreciate it.
Hello, thank you for all of your advice and information that you've been sharing today. It's been very helpful, and I was just wondering, what is your best advice to newcomers entering the tech world? With AI being on the rise, are there ways for us to prepare ourselves to work with it, or should we be training not to work against it, but to use it, depend on it less?
So let me see if I understand correctly. You're talking about newcomers that are already in the tech field, like you are in information systems or programming. Well, there is a ton of really good help in YouTube. So one of my favorite is Marina Weiss. So let me open up here. So I've learned so much from videos like this one. So YouTube here, and then this is not the only one though, but so where's the Marina? What is 1 second, Marina? I think it's Marina. And let me look at my history here for a second. Here she is. And this is not just an exaggeration. So Marina, she's a very, very accomplished AI engineer, and she has some videos on summarizing AI engineering books. So one way to start is look at some of her videos on AI engineering here. So becoming a data scientist, and so this is a book that is very well known. She talks about it, and then how to learn technical skills. So it depends on where you want to work. So if you want to be just a trainer, or you want to go more in depth and learn how to do machine learning, you may want to even get a certificate or a master's somewhere. Like at Buff State, we have a master's in data science, depending what your background is. UB has also 3 programs in data science. Canisius has it, but you can also do it online. There are companies like Kudos, I think, that is very good. So I mean, there is a ton of resources there. And I would advise to start by watching some of these videos and see what's behind all the hype, and then go from there.
Okay, cool. Well, all of you that have, first and foremost, Dr. Carbonaro, I want to thank you for taking a slice of your time today to come and speak with, our students and sharing with them your knowledge about AI, and more so. And for the students, if you guys are leaving ECC at some future point, probably your next step might be Buffalo State University. And I seriously suggest you find this young man and pick his brain for a lot of that information and knowledge that he's got to share with you. For those of you on the call, if you do have additional questions after this event, shoot them to Linda or myself, and I'll put my email in the chat. Shoot any questions that you have to me, and I'll share them with Dr. Carbonaro, and I am sure that he will respond to you personally if you ask him that question. And again, if you're going to Buff State, if you don't look him up, I will find you. And I know where Dr. C hides, and I know where all you students are. So I'll find you also, and I might even make a house call. But again, Dr. Carbonaro, thank you, sir, for your time this afternoon. Appreciate it. And students, again, suck in all of this knowledge, wisdom, information that he shared with you. In some cases, it might be a little bit over your head right now. And I say right now, but give a year or two and all of this will make sense, and it'll be just as easy as pie. And we look for you to come back to other Speak IT events. And I thank you personally for all of you that are taking time out of your schedules to participate in these events. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and weekend. Go ahead.
It was my pleasure. Thanks so much. And remember that anything that is new sounds like magic, but then when you get familiar with it, it says, hey, this is so easy. So thanks, Theron, and thanks everybody for being here. It was a real pleasure.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you all. Okay. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Carbonaro.
Thank you.